3, we're live. Awesome.
All right. Yo.
We are live, little post SmackDown rendezvous, chopping it up with my man Stan the Man. This is Sir Wilkins here, little chopping it up. What up, Stan? How you feeling, man? Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you, yours, and all involved. Before we get started, I just want to let everybody know, I want to introduce everybody to my new friend. Goldie will be joining us tonight. I brought her with me. She loves wrestling. She's ready. She's down. She's down for the shits. So we here.
Okay. So first things first, how'd you like SmackDown? Did you watch it?
I was in and out. I'll keep it a buck. I was in and out. But from what I saw, it was pretty good. They put on a pretty decent show. Yeah. Like, I feel like they booked it in a way that kind of send you home happy, give you the good feels or whatever, give you Christmas time and all that. You know, they were good for that.
It was a good show. It was like 4 matches, I think they had. From what I remember, yeah, it was 4 matches. They had 4 matches. They gave the us Biggie. They gave Biggie the win that he needed. His big push is coming.
Let me just say though, because like, so I'm on Facebook earlier, and I forget it's Friday. I forget it's whatever. You know, I'm in another world. So I'm scrolling, and I see the Big E is like holding the Intercontinental Championship, and everybody's in the ring. And so I'm like, wait a minute, when did this happen? What's today? I thought this was like last night.
Yeah.
Apparently they did the pre-recorded, so that kind of got spoiled for me. But yeah, we got one. We got another one.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting to see. But I think we all knew it was coming, in my opinion. Like I kind of was just like, yo, Big E was gonna win, man. Like Big E is getting a push. Like Vince likes Big E.
Yeah,
it's definitely what was about to happen. What were your thoughts on that?
I'm surprised it happened on SmackDown, to be honest with you. I thought they were gonna try to do that on like it was a good move. Don't get me wrong, it was a good move doing it on SmackDown on Christmas. But that's the only thing that kind of threw me off about it. That like kind of caught me off guard, because if we're watching the way that they're okay, all right. Jeff Jarrett's gonna be with us today too. So if you're watching how they're positioning Big E throughout the last few weeks, he's definitely getting a push. They separated him for the New Day. They're differentiating him from the other two. They're featuring him with spots with like the Paul Heyman thing and all that. Change his music up and all that. So he's bound to get some kind of good look at some point. Roman is occupying the Universal title lane. So, you know, put Big E over here to not get steamrolled over and have his own way to get over and have his own thing.
Yeah, because so before, when I was growing up, and when most of us was growing up, the IC title meant you get the IC title. It meant you get a championship next. That was a setup.
Like honestly, back originally, the IC title, like it wasn't like a set rule, but it was the perception backstage. Like whoever held the Intercontinental title was in essence the number 1 contender.
Yeah, or you were next up. Or you were legit next up on the list. And there was 2 things that indicated that you were going to win the title. King of the Ring, and then IC titles win, and then it almost automatically meant that you were going to be the title picture. Like automatically. Like I remember when it was years ago when Brock Lesnar won the King of the Ring. And I remember JR constantly on the fucking commentator. It was like, yeah, if you win King of the Ring, that means you're next up on the list of becoming the top guy in the company. La, 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 la.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how things have changed over the years. And then when you won the IC titles, it was like you were gonna be the next top guy.
Absolutely. Like you say that thing with Brock. Like we went so like, well, both of them, it's kind of the same thing. Because you had a bunch of guys that went on to win King of the Ring and Intercontinental Championship and then go on to do great things. But then you also had the guys that won the Intercontinental Championship and the King of the Ring that kind of fell by the wayside. Big E is not the type to fall by the wayside, I don't feel. Yeah, I feel like this guy's here to stay.
I feel he is, and also, have you heard about the rumor that Vince wanted him to be the top guy? Did you ever hear that rumor?
No.
So there was supposedly a rumor going around where they were gonna put in place the next top guy, and Vince wanted Big E to be the next top guy, but Michael Hayes was like, "Nah, go with Roman," and then he convinced Vince to go with Roman, and that's why Roman is where he's at right now. But supposedly Vince loves Big E and wants Big E, was always high on Big E. So I'm not surprised, but I don't know how true that rumor is, though, about Vince loving Big E and wanting him to be the next top guy. Even though right now, in hindsight 2020, Roman was the right choice.
To be honest with you, I don't know how much I could hang on that rumor. Just because of where Big E was at that time and how he was being used in their early stages.
Yeah.
It lent itself to much of what you were saying, that like they fucked with him, but Roman seemed to have been on that world title track since day one. You know, when
I think he was on that world title track since he walked into FCW.
Right.
Yeah, like when he walked in, they were like, "Oh, the tribal chief has arrived," before he was a tribal chief.
Let's screw him up for about 6 years though, before we get it right. Let's mess with it.
I mean, the Shield run, I don't care what nobody said. People can complain about Dean and Moxley, whatever, but all three of them had a fucking career.
Dude, all three of them, all right, cool. So I'm glad we're talking about this show. So all three of them had a purpose in that group. Like Moxley, Ambrose, whatever. Originally he was the mouthpiece. Originally it looked like he was gonna be the centerpiece of this whole gimmick, right? But then he added that whole loose cannon, unpredictable factor to it. Then you had Rollins. That's where he got the architect name. He was the one putting everything together. He was the one that put the matches together to make everybody else. He's the one that made the Shield look legitimate in the ring, right? Then you got Roman. He's just like that big dude that you just want to see do something, and he don't say much. So they all kind of filled in the role, and I love how they all kind of branched out, like you said, and like filled in those roles as world champion main event talents. We got 3 main event guys out of that.
I mean, I've been saying this for years. I believe that Dean Moxley was a Chris Bosh in the group. I don't care what nobody. I don't care what nobody tells you. I have argued with a bunch of people up and down about that. I've never thought Dean Moxley was ever all that. Janelle loved Moxley when he was on the thing. Like Janelle praised him, and everybody I knew around was like he was the guy because he was the indie darling. He was the indie darling, and I mean, Seth Rollins, aka Tyler Black, was also an indie darling as well. Yo, mad off subject, but I'm reading the Young Bucks book.
Okay.
And I love it. So far, so good. Fucking amazing. But one thing I'm reading and I'm gathering, those people know how to put their homies on.
Yeah.
I don't want nobody to argue with me. Oh, nah, this is all about nah. Because every single person in the book.
I gotta ask you. Just because personally, I have like less than no interest in the Young Bucks.
Yeah.
Or anything that they do, really. But I understand, and I understand their place in the world, right? But let me ask you, what is it about their book that you enjoy that appeals to you most?
It's for me personally, and I just keep it a buck. I respect the grind.
Okay.
The book is very much. I got it from the mud. I started off with nothing and got here. And people shit on them a lot. Don't get me wrong, and I understand perfectly why. But they're a true independent wrestler story, like 100% true and true. And I think I was reading. Somebody posted in. Shout out to Jabari for this one in the National African American Wrestling Group. They were like, what do you see? You guys see the Young Bucks? And one guy was like, yo, they didn't really do anything. It was just good timing for them. And I always believe that everything in life is good timing. It doesn't matter who you are. It's always good timing, luck, and preparation all coming together. But reading the book, you start realizing like this shit is like they were turned down a lot. They had to make themselves hot. But it was also they were good. They were different. They were adding something to the industry that wasn't seen before. Like I'm up to the part where they finally get signed to TNA.
Mm-hmm.
And Vince Russo loves them. Shout out to Vince Russo. Shantice, you listening? Yeah, exactly. And they get there and they just have to make a name for themselves. They're signed to ROH, but they're not making real money yet. It's like most independent wrestlers ain't making shit. So it's kind of like that beauty of like them getting hot, and then next thing you know, WWE's after them.
You know what they're like to me?
What?
They're like, I'm trying to think of a good one. They're like one of these dudes in the music industry, like Takashi, or like one of these dudes in the industry that get like hot off the internet or whatever, and then they just blow up, and then they're just a sensation for it, and then they die out, like or whatever. Then now, granted, they haven't died out. They actually, they got a TV deal going or whatever. They haven't grown their audience within the whole year that they've been there. That whole AEW crew. I don't even want to shit on Cody. I love Cody and all that. I know we're kind of taking a turn here, but like I'm looking at the Young Bucks like, okay, I respect, like I'm with you. I respect the grind. I respect the grind because I realize that you're self-trained. You got turned down everywhere that you went, mainly because you didn't want to learn. But like I understand all that, and I can appreciate you even making your way on television to get to this level. My only question is, are you interested in going outside of your cult following? Are you interested in go? Is that a thing, or do you even need to?
That's a good conversation, and that's where so from what I read, they're an underground follower. They are, and we can see that by AEW's ratings. I've said it before numerous times. They haven't gone over 1 million in how long?
Dog, Sunday Night Heat, Velocity, the late dying days of Thursday Night Thunder, all did like 2 and 3 times better than what AEW is doing currently.
Yeah, and they'll the fanboys will shit on Raw having the lowest ratings ever, blah 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 blah, and SmackDown, whatever.
Hit it one time and then talk.
Yeah, but Dave haven't hit it in a long time, and I think I don't know what their deal with TNT is, because from what I've read, when they hit their numbers in the beginning, when they were hitting like 900,000, a million, the first couple of times, TNT was like it surpassed their expectations. So I'm assuming that where they're at is where they're supposed to be, number-wise, with their contract with TNT.
So they expected them. All right. I mean, and all that like kind of lends itself to some kind of nepotism. Somebody knows somebody somewhere, because what kind of business is gonna knowingly sign something that they know isn't going to do well.
But I don't think it's them. Like their do well is
that they knew. There was somebody that they knew, and I forget the dude's name, but there was somebody that was involved in that TV deal that AEW ended up getting, that they were cool, and he was Wrestling Mark, and that dude ended up getting released maybe a few months ago.
Yeah,
but even so, like, I guess the executives around, they still have faith in I don't know, have faith or whatever, but they're still optimistic about the product and where it's going. But it's just crazy because it's like what like it's not growing. It's not growing at all.
The thing is,
people watching.
It's the same people watching, definitely. It's, in my opinion, it hasn't grown, but you can always throw that wrench in that argument as it's a pandemic. People are worried about other things because everywhere things were down. Because even the NBA ratings were down.
Yeah.
So you can argue that within that conversation. You know what I mean?
I'll give you that. But okay. So and even AEW fans can agree with this. They haven't really handled their superstars in the best way, and that has nothing to do with people being present or not. This is just strictly good ideas and bad ideas. You know what I'm saying? Like, I say it all the time. Hangman Adam Page, right? Like, there's no reason you have this guy looking like a bum. Like, we've seen the drunks before. We've seen Steve Austin get drunk before. We've seen Sandman, come out with it. We've seen the beer gimmick already, right?
Yeah.
Hangman's on some shit where it's like, yo, I don't even believe in you. I don't want to see you no more. Like, I don't want to even invest in this anymore because they just seem like they're just squashing them. Like, it just seems like they're just squashing them. And like, if that's a guy I feel like they could have really built their back on after Jericho got done with their title, whatever. That's a guy that they could have built their back on. Another Darby Allin, another one. He's not.
Well, they're building up Darby.
Bad. Yeah, Darby isn't as bad off as Hangman has been, but like the point is, you have guys here that you really could have put in a better light to be perceived better by people, and then when the NBA folks turn on the show after the NBA game and catch you on, then they see something that they might want to see, not old ass Chris Jericho.
That's true. It's I'm not a booker. I can only go up as a wrestling fan. So as a wrestling fan and somebody who's been watching for a while and have a podcast, and my knowledge is a little bit higher than an average wrestling fan, you're right. They haven't, but the thing about it, in general, they don't have superstar power. Their only true superstar there is Jericho, which is why when people changed over the channel, they were able to like, Chris Jericho, what's going on here?
See, but look, all right. So I was talking to somebody else though. I was talking to, I forget who it was. It might have been Sparrow. I think it was Sparrow who said this. And I can back this up because when I watch wrestling with my dudes, with my boys that don't watch wrestling, they kind of say, they lend it to this ear. And he's saying like, okay, so what if after the NBA you turn on a match with these two dudes that they don't really know, or some dudes they don't really know, but they're having a kick-ass match? People are going to tune into that because, like, oh, shit, look at this dude doing this cool shit. Da, da, da. As long as they don't look like your next door neighbor or your little brother, then they're going to invest in that because folks want that kind of action.
But that's looking the part. Because I got into arguing with so many people online yesterday about how Jericho was.
I saw.
And everybody kept saying, it's not a big deal. It is what it is. But you answered the question of you turning on the channel and going, who is this? Mm-hmm. And people were trying to say Keith Lee and Bray Wyatt. The thing is...
All right. Go ahead.
The thing is, Bray Wyatt and Keith Lee are tall, big motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
They look like they can run through a fucking brick wall.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like really run through a brick wall.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Jericho looks like the Humpty Dumpty. That's not gonna work. That's not gonna work.
I saw people bringing up the Fiend and Keith Lee as a counter to this Chris Jericho argument, and I was fucking disgusted because
it doesn't work though. It doesn't work.
We're talking about, well, first of all, you're right there off the top, and you as a personal trainer can attest to this. Right there off the top, you're showing me that you know nothing about body types. You know nothing about nutrition, and you know nothing about how to build, right? Chris, you're gonna take Wilkins. Does Chris Jericho and Keith Lee have the same body types?
Not at all.
Why are we comparing them?
because people see like, oh, Keith Lee's a bigger dude, so they're automatically gonna say, okay, he's that.
Right.
But
can you
Chris
be a bigger
Jericho
dude? Can you be a bigger dude and still be in shape?
Yes. And
can
the thing
you be
is,
a smaller dude and still be out of shape?
Yes.
That's it.
but also it also brings up the fact of a couple of things.
Mm-hmm.
First things first, it's Bray Wyatt lost weight.
Mm-hmm.
Bray Wyatt lost weight.
You put it back
Keith
on,
Lee, they put something on him to cover up his belly. Let's keep it a whole ass buck. And somebody mentioned Kevin Owens. I was like, since Kevin Owens got onto the main roster to what he is now, he's lost a significant amount of weight.
Dog, they've always been on Kevin Owens' ass about losing weight. Always. And I'm not gonna body shame anybody because there's different body types and there's different ways of doing things. But Keith Lee, Bray Wyatt, and Kevin Owens all wear shirts. And they don't look that bad as Chris Jericho. They all wear shirts to the ring. Yeah.
But before you go on, I think Chris Jericho likes it. He stays relevant that way. He likes the heat.
Yeah, I mean, he likes the heat, but like, all right. On one hand, you like the heat, but at the other hand, let's not act like you're not a human being, right? Like, come on, son. Like, no one likes to go on the internet and see all of that going down. But at the same time, Chris Jericho, we're not body shaming. We're not. Let's table that because I hate the fact that people bring body shaming into a cosmetic business, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was taught. I was taught that this is a cosmetic business, and you can have a Kevin Owens, you can have a Keith Lee, but how many of those guys in the WWE are Kevin Owens? How many of those guys in the WWE? How many Keith Lees do you have? How many Bray Wyatts do you have? But then you go around, you look what they look like generally. But like what wrestlers you gotta look the part. The people are talking about athletes. James Harden showed up to practice to the season out of shape, about 30 pounds over. Like, this isn't about body shaming. This is about you being professional at your craft. This is what we're talking about. We're not talking about, oh, you was born a certain way or one thing or the other. What?
Get up, so
Hold up.
I fucked myself up.
Oh, Shanti's fucked up here.
Go ahead.
But nah, we're not, like, I hate that whole body shaming argument in this conversation because this is pro wrestling. This is professional sports. These guys are literally paid to look good and take care of yourselves.
Somebody mentioned Otis. Otis lost weight. Otis, most of the time, wears a singlet. He's a couple of times, but he's also a joke. That's his gimmick. Mm-hmm. Somebody mentioned Tucker. Tucker's not that big. Tucker's actually is not that big as people think he is. He's not that big. I can name every big dude, but most big dudes are covered up. 90% of big dudes are covered up.
Yoko is even covered up. They even covered up Yoko, and they made him the whole champion. The only fat dude they didn't cover up is Rikishi. But that was because
it was his gimmick.
Right.
It was
to make people laugh.
Yeah. It was his gimmick, and also it's the way that you gotta work it. But also on the natural position, you gotta stay healthy though.
Yes. Absolutely.
They try to get Yoko to lose weight. And there's always exceptions to the rule. There's like you said, it's always the exception. There's always that guy that has it. I remember I was watching The Wrestler on Vice, and MVP was on there. MVP walked into some school, whatever, and he said what you said exactly. Actually, he said what you said almost to the T. He was like, he told the students, he was like, y'all all got to get into shape. He's like, yeah, you may see somebody like Kevin Owens on TV, but his charisma is through the fucking roof. His charisma is on a whole nother level. So he can get away with it, but even he had to lose weight to look professional. And people get confused about this whole concept of like, oh, you got to be OD jacked, ripped to the core. No, it's just looking like you can do something. And there's always exceptions in every sport.
Look like an athlete. Look like you make your living fighting or something.
There's exceptions in every sport. Like UFC, Daniel Cormier can fuck about somebody else, but he's somebody's dad. That's an exception.
Roy Nelson.
Yes.
Come on.
Exception.
Come on,
but
man. But how many?
Everybody can be the exception to the rule.
Absolutely.
Not everybody can be the exception to the rule.
And I think that's where a lot of fans, and because let's be honest, a lot of fans live vicariously through these people. So anything that happens to them, they take as a direct personal. Like when they see the headlines, oh, Vince McMahon told Keith Lee to go lose weight. There's millions of people out there that are, oh, Vince McMahon just called me fat and he doesn't like fat people. Like that's exactly how it works. So like I feel like people just need to. I'm not gonna tell people what they need to do, but it would be easier on folks if you just understand and recognize and remember that this is, like we said, it is a cosmetic business. You train, I train. That was drilled into me. That was told to me from day one. So if you're gonna be a Chris Jericho, if you're gonna be a legend of that stature, and you're gonna be seen on television prime time after the NBA game, and everybody and their mama's on the, and you're not looking the part, you're out of shape, you're not doing what you need to do as a 30-year veteran in the game.
Exactly. Somebody said Titus got big. Titus did get big, and then he lost the weight after. He was in catering all the time. Yeah. And people fluctuate with weight all the time, and that just happens. That's a natural thing. But most dudes in the business will gain weight, get a little bit out of shape, and then get it back. That happened to Triple H. Remember when Triple H came back one time and he was just looking horrible?
Yo, Triple H from like 2005 to like 2009 just disgusted me. like after that, you know what happened? He was in Evolution too long, and he was getting wealthy. He had this thing walking around. He was getting fat, and he was just like, I got my new wife now. I'm running a company low key. I don't gotta worry. Nah, and then he pulled his other quad, and he was like, nah, I gotta go back to the gym.
Yeah. But Titus is not that big. The person who's talking right now, did you see Titus Bell? Titus is not that big. Like legit, Jericho has a beer belly. Like legit beer belly.
Titus reminds me of Terry Crews.
Yeah. Triple H had that William Regal figure. He did. He sure did.
He did.
But once again, somebody like William Regal, his look fits that UK British style, but still looks like somebody can still fuck you up. And he's like a technically sound demon in the ring. Like William Regal's is on another fucking level when it's technicality. So you can kind of get away with that. You know what I mean? Like, but still, he still looks presentable.
And that's the other thing too. Like, okay, if you're not gonna look like it, at least really be able to. So that worst case scenario, if like for William Regal, for example, he doesn't look like the guy that's gonna knock you the fuck out, right? Yeah. But when he's in the ring, you got to be able to carry yourself in the ring, carry yourself on television, carry yourself in a way that will convince the audience that you're about that life. William Regal, I believe that he will rip your throat out. You know, even if he is shaped like a teapot. He looks like a pot. I can't tell you why he looks like a pot. But guess what? I'm not gonna fight that man.
Yeah, and he also had the look. He had the snarky look on his face where, you know, it just fit. Like somebody said, his gimmick was cheating using brass knuckles, so he doesn't count. And it's something, but also everybody we mentioned Titus, we mentioned William Regal. They weren't the face of the company. Mm-hmm. That's a whole different responsibility when you're one of the faces of the company.
Yeah.
When you're one of the faces of the company, you definitely have to look the part. There's a responsibility that you have.
Yeah. Like, you say what you want about, all right, you got a whole bunch of characters that go back and forth in WWE, right? You got all the stupid characters and all that. How many goofballs have been world champion, have been WWE champion? Was he a goofball when he was the champion?
Can I interject a second?
What?
Y'all missing a point. Hi, Wilkins. Merry Christmas. You're missing a point. Chris Jericho is the nostalgia piece of AEW. Chris Jericho was put on directly after basketball to get all the people who had left wrestling to sit and say, oh, wow, Chris Jericho. So if you are being used in that role, you should look as close to how you were if possible.
That's the point. And it's nostalgia piece, face of the company. You have a very huge responsibility. Oh, quickly.
Matter of fact, go ahead, because that actually reminded me of another point on this. Go ahead.
TNA Sting.
You beat me to it. I was going to talk about TNA Sting, but I was going to talk about Sting. But go ahead. I don't know TNA Sting. I don't acknowledge TNA. But go ahead.
TNA Sting wore a fucking t-shirt the entire time he wrestled, and there's a reason for that. Before we move on, somebody said Mick out of shape goofball champ. Hold on. Pause. We need to pause. First of all, Mick Foley was not even really a champ. He was a placeholder. Transitional champ, paper champ, whatever you want to call it. He was the guy that they used to get other people over. That was literally Mick Foley's job when he was in the E. And he did a phenomenal job. The reason why 2000 on Triple H when he had that whole like run Hunter, the Helmsley, you know, McMahon era shit, his job was to keep Austin's seat warm until Austin got back from surgery. His job was to make Triple H look good throughout that feud and to make Triple H become a superstar. So we're not using Mick Foley. We're not using Mick Foley.
Just to piggyback off of what he said, he's a 3-time WWE champion, and all 3 times his championship was solely to elevate The Rock and then Triple H. That's it. That's it.
Basically. But when it came to him being out of shape, once again, he had a shirt on.
Wait, and how many Mick Foleys are there? Let's talk about it. I know there's a lot of wannabes, but how many Mick Foleys are there?
Not a lot. And I love Mick Foley. I absolutely love Mick Foley. And the more you dig into his career, this guy's on God level.
I'm glad we're even talking about this too, because he's even acknowledged this before. The reason why he did so much crazy shit is because he knew that he had to do something extra to get over, because his physique wasn't that, his work wasn't that. He had to do something to be different.
It's everybody in the business says it. You got to look like the part, and if you don't, you have to make it up somewhere crazy somewhere else. The thing is, like what Shanti said, yes, Chris Jericho was the nostalgia piece, and it's also Chris Jericho is what Shanti said. You know what? You turn on AEW. Oh shit, Chris Jericho's still wrestling. What is this?
And then they hear Jim Ross too. So yeah, let's see what's going on.
They hear Jim Ross. They hear him talking like, "Oh shit, let me check this out. Let me watch this real quick." But then they go, "Oh, Chris Jericho can barely move. Oh, why does he look like that?"
So Wilkins, let me ask you then. This is a good transition. So what the fuck do they expect Sting to do?
Sting supposedly is doing cinematic matches. Somebody said Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe looks like a fucking killer. Let's not talk about Samoa.
And he's not been anybody's WWE champion.
But he looks like a fucking killer. He'll kill somebody. Yeah. He looks like he'll fucking kill somebody.
He looks and he sounds like a freaking killer. That man. Yeah.
Best mic skills in the business. Some of the best mic skills in the business. He's a hood nigga from the islands. But
it's so crazy. Like a quick story. I met Samoa Joe. Though. I met Samoa Joe.
Talk to me about it.
I met Samoa Joe about I was in high school. He was X Division, right? He was the X Division champ at that point. And he was just getting like his legs under him, right? Mm-hmm. So me and my mans, we're just going around, we're asking all the wrestlers stupid questions. So we go up to him and we said, Samoa Joe, who will win in a fight between you and Umaga? And he says, you know he's my cousin, right? We just looked at each other, we were like, yo, who will win in a fight between you and Umaga? He says, oh yeah, I beat him in basketball last week. Yo, Booker T, who will win between you and Umaga? Umaga don't want none of me, man. Presentation matters.
100%. 100%.
I always remember that about him. I fuck with Samoa Joe, but I always remember that about him. The fact that he acted like that day.
Yeah. Sting, you mentioned Sting. I think at this point Sting is just doing cinematic matches. I think that's what he's basically gonna do. Work with getting talent over. He can barely move. We all know that. Because he's been wrestling for a long, long time consistently wrestling a long time. And he hasn't been in the gym, in the ring in a long time. So he can't do anything real crazy. He has no type of ability to do anything more than cinematic matches.
Let me ask you, bro. And this is coming from a Sting fan, okay? Yeah. Sting's in my top 3 of all time. My top favorite wrestlers, right? Do you feel like there is anything left for Sting to even get? If somebody from AEW beats Sting, are you gonna look at them as any different, as anything more significant?
Real talk, wrestling is an egotistical sport. It is about ego. It's about somebody feeling good. Sting coming back to AEW has nothing to do with AEW. It has nothing to do with helping talent. It is all about him going out the way that he wants to. And he's entitled to that. He's a legend. He's a legend in the business. He's not on the God tier level, but he's on the tier right below it. Like there's a few people on that God tier level.
Damn it! To me, he's on the God tier level because come on, son.
God tier level for me is I'll give you my God tier level, and this something you can tell me yours. God tier level for me is Stone Cold, The Rock. I don't like saying this, but Hogan. Ric Flair. And he's teetering a little bit for me. He's like in between The Undertaker. Those are my God tier level for me.
Okay. Like, I hear you. I'm just being very emotional and very personal when I say that.
No, it's fine. It's fine. We're here to talk.
I hear you, though, because when I hear names like Ric Flair and The Undertaker, and I'm like, why not Sting? You know? And I know why not Sting, because because he's too nice of a guy. He never got his just doing WCW, so he was never really the God there like he should have been. Then he came to the WWE, and we already know what the freaking story was with that. So I hear you.
But the thing is, if you argue with me and tell me that he is on that, I'm not gonna really make a big deal about it. But for me personally, God tier level in wrestling for me is niggas who move the needle heavy. Like, you move the culture forward. Like
people outside the wrestling bubble got to know you. Like Roddy Piper's on that level. Macho Man's on that level.
Like Roddy Piper's right. You could argue Roddy Piper. I would argue Rowdy above Sting. But the thing about Sting is that you said it yourself. He was a nice guy. He helped 20 people out, and people like that. Somebody put Bret Hart. Bret Hart for me is not on there.
Nah, like you can't like that's the thing. Bret and like Shawn especially too. Like Shawn is probably the biggest the biggest superstar in wrestling that's not known outside of wrestling.
That's what I'm saying. That's literally what I'm saying. Like, you could argue Bret a little bit because he kind of had that, but I'm talking about niggas that my auntie who never watched wrestling a day in her life knows who they are. That's what I'm talking about. You know who's
on that God tier, bro? You know who's on that God? And I didn't realize he's on that God tier. But like every time I ask an older head, like they all give me the same one.
Who?
JYD, Junkyard Dog.
You know what?
Junkyard Dog. Ask any Ask anybody over like 45. They're gonna tell you Junkyard Dog.
Cause he was a brother.
Yeah,
he was a brother,
and he was super the fuck over apparently.
I'm a little too young to know that. That's the thing.
I know. Son, I just whenever I ask an older head about wrestling, they always ask me, "What about Junkyard Dog?"
You know what?
And it ain't just black folks either. It ain't just black folks.
Yeah. So, you know what? I can. That's something that I can't say. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I can't argue with that because it's before my era. Because Hogan, low key, was before our era too.
He was, but he crossed over.
Yeah. And that's because of NWO. That's what really helped him like continue his legacy a little bit.
That's what that's what I knew when I was coming. When I first started wrestling, I didn't know Hogan as this dude. I knew him as the freaking this dude.
Yeah. I knew Hogan because I was watching it mad young though, like kindergarten like type of shit. I watched Thunder in Paradise and shit, but it was WCW though, heavy. It was heavy WCW. I saw Hogan borderline end of his era, like his era in WWE, and then I really got to know him in WCW. And the only reason why I watched WCW was because of Scott Hall and Kevin Nash.
Yeah. There you go. NWO
maybe did their job with me because I turned that channel. I said, "Oh shit." Oh, like, this is amazing.
That's when I got into wrestling. That's exactly what was going on. I got into it. When I got into wrestling. It was through that WCW World Tour game that came out. So it was about like the beginning. It was like beginning to mid '97. I'm like 6.5. I'm like 6 years old. So I'm like, yo, what's going on? Who are these guys?
Exactly. Like, holy shit, what the fuck? This is fucking awesome. Junkyard Dog is a legend in the South. Rocky Johnson, another legend. Y'all bugging.
Ah!
Y'all bugging. Heart Foundation been around the game for a minute. They were originally in WCW.
I don't know. If you go to work on Monday, ask 5 people at work, who Brian Pillman is, and tell me what you get.
I respect the red and yellow Hogan, but I was born in '91 and from NC, so I'm a Hollywood Hogan guy. Yeah, it's
fuck
you.
Him.
Yeah, fuck him. Like on some real shit.
We ain't gonna give him too much love. Fuck him though.
Yeah. 100%. It's really fucked Terry. It's really fucked.
Yep, because Hogan did the job to many black men, or at least one.
Yeah.
Apple.
Apple. Yeah. I was, you know what's funny? I was watching their match over today. I rewatched the match because we spoke about it in class about a week ago. Was it a week ago? It was either a week ago or 2 weeks ago. I was rewatching it, and the match psychology in that match and the crowd control is that's gold level.
It's the most basic match you could ever watch, and it's probably the greatest match you could ever watch for the same reason what you just said. Like, the crowd control was on point. And we said this last time we talked on Instagram. Like, when I started training and they started teaching us how to, like, lock up and take headlocks and shit, I based my whole way off of taking headlocks out of a lockup off of this match, off of how Rock and Hogan were grabbing each other. Because it was just so basic, elementary, and everything was exaggerated to the point where you can literally follow every move you do. So going back now, knowing the things that I know now and watching this match, I appreciate it even more so that what these guys did. Super ABC in them. Super ABC.
So I read the other day that it was supposed to be Stone Cold in that match.
Yeah, but well, they wanted Steve. But it was a couple of things. It was one, Steve didn't think that Hogan was in shape. Basically, he didn't think Hogan could go. And he was just like, nah, I'm not finna have like no half-ass WrestleMania match with Hulk Hogan for the sake of it. And then the other part is they couldn't come up with who's gonna win. They couldn't agree with who's gonna win.
Hindsight 2020, I wouldn't have liked it. I'll keep it a buck with you.
They made the right move. They put the right match on.
They put.
I feel like especially for that at that point in their careers, we all know that Steve Austin was a crazy ass worker before the neck injury and all that stuff. Yeah. But at that point in their career, I feel like The Rock was more equipped to get a better match out of Hulk Hogan than Steve Austin was at that point.
Yes. But what's funny is that his WrestleMania match was against Scott Hall, and it was like a fucking mid as fuck type of match.
It was a mid as fuck type of feud. Like, and that's enough. That all led up to part of the reason why he ended up walking out, because that feud, that whole thing with Scott Hall, he didn't want to work with Scott Hall. He didn't trust Scott Hall. He was like, "Yo, this guy is drunk. Y'all got him on that anti pill or whatever that makes you vomit whenever you are in earshot of alcohol." They gave that to him and then poured beer on him on television, and he was throwing up on television. Steve Austin wasn't trying to rock with Scott Hall like that, but out of respect for Kevin Nash, because he's cool with Kevin Nash, out of respect for him, he was like, "All right, man, whatever, yo, but just make sure your boys show up in shape," you know.
Yeah, it was interesting But I watched the match, right? Because we talked about it in class, and I still got hyped, bro. I was still getting hyped. It's like the 5th time I've seen the match, and I'm watching this shit. I was like, "Yo, they flipped." Rock played heel, Hogan played face within seconds, and that was the most craziest shit I've ever seen, and I've never seen that again before. I've never seen that again. I've never seen that at an indie show. I've never seen that on a professional wrestling on any type of level of where. No, you know what? One match I saw, and it's maybe I'm a little biased. It was Amazing Red versus Will Ospreay. They fought at the Junior Cup. Their show in California, and it wasn't on the same level, but it was one of those matches where, just like The Rock versus Hogan, the crowd was eating out of the palm of their hand. Like anything they did, pop. And, like they stepped, pop. They threw one punch, pop. And with the Hogan, go back to the Hogan and Rock match, the psychology, bro, it was like, whew, like
one thing I noticed about that psychology though, like as far as like the good guy, bad guy element, like first of all, they knew from the moment they got out there that, oh shit, we're gonna have to change it up a little bit because they're clearly not reacting how we anticipated. But Hogan still worked heel in that match.
Yes.
He was still putting the heat on Rocky in that match, and Rocky still had to fight from underneath, which created a crazy dynamic because the crowd, and that's part of the reason why the crowd was on 10 the whole time, because they were cheering. You're usually booing when the heel is getting the heat. But they're cheering when the heel is getting this heat on this guy. And then it just increased the boos when The Rock decided to make his comeback, and that just made the boos louder. So it was just, you're right. You never really got that again.
It's you know what was crazy? I give more credit to The Rock for that match.
Yes.
Because he worked heel throughout a large majority of the match. There's certain things that he usually doesn't do, which is because a couple of times, like he was brawling in the match. The Rock is not a brawler type of dude, but he switched up his style and started brawling throughout the match, where it was like, somebody said that was the best WrestleMania game ever on GameCube. You are right.
No,
WrestleMania 2 was
no, he's right. No, it's fact.
You're 100% right. But he brawled and he switched up everything, and the next night Hogan turns face. He comes out on Raw, open up the shirt, red and yellow again. Somebody asked a question to us. Do you feel like Austin and Hart in WrestleMania 13 have the same effect as Hogan and Rock? Crowd did change sides. Same with Sid and Shawn at SummerSlam 96. Fans were Sid and booing Shawn before the match. Talk to me.
All right. It's a little different with Brett and Steve, because it was a different kind of switch. Mainly because the crowd reaction was much, much more visceral at WrestleMania 18, but the character change was much more dynamic with Brett and Austin. And that story was much more defined and laid out. And that was much more of a defining, a definitive double turn, because they were still cheering The Rock the next night. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like Rock was still getting cheered the next night on Raw. Steve Austin went from getting booed to getting cheered.
Yes.
Straight up. Bret Hart went from getting cheered to getting booed. Straight up. And Bret was positioned as the top, he was positioned at that time, top 2 baby faces. And it was this match that kind of like turned him on the other side. So I would say that the 13 match was more defined as far as like the baby face and the heel turns, but the 18 match was more the crowd was more into that one. So it felt big.
because they wrestled in Toronto, right? 18 is in Toronto, right?
Yeah.
I think Toronto's a very Hogan friendly crowd, so that's why the pop went what it was.
But don't discount the Rock's pop over in Canada too, because Rocky Johnson was a big deal over there.
Yeah,
Rocky
that is
Johnson
true. That is
from
a
Nova
good point.
Scotia.
Yeah, that is a good point. They mentioned Sid and Sean. Sid and Sean was good. I remember that vaguely because the only reason why I watched it a while ago was because of Sean. I'm a huge Sean fan, and
I watched it fairly recently because that's all the fuck we do is watch goddamn 97. But yeah, but you know that was more so because like folks just fuck with Sid. Just straight up, like Sid is just like one of like low key. Sid's one of the most over guys like ever. Like he's a guy that can come work 6 months. All right, I'm going to play softball. See you in 2 years, and he'll be back, and it's like, oh God, Sid. You know,
Sid had a special had the it factor. Sid had the it factor. Like Sid legit had like something special about it. Random. I watched the was it Untold? Whatever they call it. It's on the network on the Goldberg special.
Yeah. I watched that recently too.
What'd you think about it?
I mean, it was decent. It was a decent documentary, I guess. My biggest takeaway from it, honestly, Kevin Nash just never liked this motherfucker.
I was just about to say that.
Just Kevin Nash just ain't never liked this motherfucker. He's like, I don't have a problem with Bill. Yeah, you do. Stop it.
Nigga, you have a serious problem with this motherfucker. You did not like him at all.
You know what?
All.
And you know what? Kev, that's okay. You don't have to like you can just say it.
Because he kept saying like he was saying like nah, it wasn't my fault. I wasn't the one booking this and that. I was like, nigga, shut up. We
I mean,
know what you were doing.
That part was true. He didn't have the book at that point. Goldberg was being and that's what's so interesting about this dynamic between like Goldberg and Nash. Because like Nash don't like Goldberg because he looks at Goldberg as like, yo, you're like this like paranoid meathead, but then Goldberg is over here really being a paranoid meathead. So it's like, what do you expect?
It's because Kevin said it the best on the thing. Kevin's whole thing was that it wasn't 100% realistic. The whole streak, and I didn't know this because kayfabe for me was alive until about 5 years ago.
Bro, can I just say one thing, and then I just want to say this one thing because you brought up kayfabe being alive. I'm one of those, and I strictly believe this with all my heart and soul. Before I started training, after I started training, that I believe kayfabe is still alive and well, as long as you give a fuck enough.
Yeah, 100%.
Kayfabe is alive as long as you're dedicated. All you gotta do is be committed to your character enough. That's it. But whatever. We're all independent.
Hold on. Somebody said Kevin Nash hate for Goldberg was similar to Shawn and Triple H hating on The Rock in earlier 2000s. No, it wasn't. No. I personally think I can understand Kevin's hate. Shawn and Triple H, I can't understand that. That was like, that has nothing to do with the Rock career. They were haters.
I understand that just from looking at it from a vacuum. Like, okay, you got dudes that have worked for years looking at dude that didn't work for years and is getting more looks than me.
Which one are you talking about? Is that Kevin? Is that Kevin and Goldberg?
Both of them.
Nah, maybe because I'm a little biased to The Rock, but explain.
Because Triple H and Shawn Michaels and Triple H, they had been wrestling way longer than The Rock. Triple H went through he had been to WCW already, terrorizing, doing all that. We already know Shawn Michaels' history. Rocky come in pretty much like, oh shit, he spent some time in Memphis. Oh, okay. 6 months later, now he's down training. Oh, now you debut in here. Oh, now we get Rocky's process happened very quickly, much like Goldberg's process happened very quickly, as opposed to these guys who in their mind, they've been grinding, scratching, and clawing all these years and getting minimal results. But now they look at these guys putting in not as much work, quote unquote, as they did, and they're getting astronomical rewards for it. At their expense, no less.
Okay. All right. This is my little toss in the wrench at that. Little toss in the wrench. Somebody said when Austin got hurt, Vince was pushing Rock first and Triple H. Cool. By the way, I'm just putting this out there. Vince can't be that racist if he was pushing Mark Henry mad fast and The Rock mad fast. Just throwing that out there. But anyways,
if you're making me money, if you're making me money, do your thing, bro.
So for me, I kind of got the Goldberg one because literally Goldberg was found in a strip joint. Come down here and let's make you a wrestler. And then you make up this whole fake streak, which I believe, because I thought they had like mad matches off camera, but that was a lie. And that's what it is. With The Rock, he came up in Memphis. He's a third generation wrestler. He's been in the business. He's been around the business for many years. Triple H, for me, and I love Triple H, you were getting it good. You just fucked up with the curtain call. You know what I mean? You fucked up with the curtain call. So you got punished.
Are we gonna really act like Triple H was anybody without the click at that point? But I'm just saying that's the percept. That's how they're probably looking at it. You know what I'm saying?
No, I get what you're saying, Stan. I'm not even like that, but it's for me. I look at it from what Red told us, where everybody gets hot. If you're good enough, you will get hot. It's an up and down game. Like when AJ left New Japan, next up was Kenny. And then Triple H got his time. Nigga, you had a year where you beat everybody. Like literally everybody.
It's so crazy though, because like it's because of what we're talking. It's because of stuff that we're talking about now here. That's why that year happened. Because he doesn't feel like, yo, how many times do I gotta get walked over before I so by the time 2003 comes, it's like I got the hammer now for real, literally.
Yeah. And then he cuts the game promo with JR, which I felt because he probably did was like, yo, somebody said Triple H didn't come up until he linked up with China. Yes. And China and Shawn saved his career. Like you just said, the click, China, I never want to downplay Triple H because I think he's a genius, low key. But he needed a little bit of help to get where he's at. And that's okay. That is okay because everybody gets help.
And it's not because he wasn't good. I feel like, especially watching back about 1998, Triple H was probably one of the most underrated and underappreciated performers on the roster because of the fact that you got Steve Austin, The Rock, The Undertaker, Mankind, and all these names that are ahead of you. So he was lit for a whole year before they actually even gave him that shine.
Yeah, but we also can't forget that him and The Rock has some of the illest feuds for the IC title, for the world title. Like Triple H, I get it. He was never number one in the company, but he was a great number 3, sometimes number 2.
Yeah. I watched something with him. He said that he prides himself on being the marquee guy. He's saying the marquee guy is the guy that works with the top guy. So he prides himself on being that the antagonist to
yeah,
such.
and that's where he fit. And I get it. Like Stan, I got what you were saying when you were like, yo, how is this new nigga coming out of the blue and he's about to get the title? But you work with the new nigga. We're in programs with the new nigga. In a bunch of programs.
So then think about it this. You worked with him, right? And you've already been in the business 8 years, doing jobs, doing the thing. And this young dude come in and like, yeah, I'm getting him ready and da-da-da. And okay, here you go. I'll wait maybe next year for me. Like,
but the thing about it, you didn't get hot up until the young dude came around the same time. Their careers low-key coincided.
Neither one of them got hot until they joined their respective groups.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And neither one of them got super hot until Austin left.
Right.
Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck.
Rocky was hot. Rocky was hot.
Rocky was hot.
He wasn't
hot. All the way.
No, he wasn't what he would go on to be, but he was definitely hot. He was definitely hot.
He was steaming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What she said? Rocky got hot after SummerSlam when he had the thing with Billy Gunn. When he had his feud with Billy Gunn.
Nah, the Triple H ladder match feud.
No, I'm talking about this. No, not that. All right, I disagree with that.
When he killed Billy Gunn?
No. I'm saying he got really hot after SummerSlam '99 when he had the feud with Billy Gunn and he came up with it doesn't matter what your name is.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's when he got really hot after SummerSlam '98, and then that's when the fans started going for him, and then that's why that's why Vince put the belt on him.
Yeah, he was cool then, but then he had cooled off by that time. He cooled off
because they turned him heel.
Exactly, he cooled off.
That's not cool enough.
You just said he cooled off. He cooled off.
But the number one thing is though, Austin was gone, was going away.
Yes.
Austin, low key, Austin leaving or having his injury problems helped elevate the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Well, okay, wait. I hear you, but unfortunately, this is when a lot of people started checking out of wrestling.
You think so?
Thank you, Randy.
Yes. People started checking out of wrestling like late 99, early 2000s.
Okay. I can early 2000, yes. Because
I wouldn't say that. Like after Steve Austin was gone, and they really had to depend on people still fucking with The Rock or whatever. But Triple H there was still a question mark about Triple H, even though he was killing it. People were still like questioning, like, yo, what are they doing storylines? Or these storylines? It wasn't what they didn't have the same momentum that they had in the year prior. So that's when it started.
So the peak of the Attitude Era, and I will always say this, people call me crazy, was Armageddon 99. That is the peak of the Attitude Era. And then that's for me, then it ended WrestleMania 18. That was the end.
No, I agree. I agree. It ended WrestleMania 18.
17.
I think the peak was WrestleMania 15.
WrestleMania 15. Why?
Because that's when the Steve Austin angle had come full circle, and it had not yet lost its steam.
Okay.
Steve Austin had won the title for the first time at WrestleMania 14. And for that following year, him and McMahon had their whole feud, which is really what blew the WWF up. And so WrestleMania 15 is when that whole story came full circle. He won his title back.
Okay.
After WrestleMania 15, the Austin McMahon rivalry started kind of losing steam. That's why they started throwing the corporate ministry and all that shit in it too. Try to like, you know, keep it going. But WrestleMania 15, when he beat The Rock, and he had the perfect opponent too. Like that right there. And then Mankind was involved in it. And that was just like the zenith right there. And then after that, they just kind of started to slowly level off after that for me.
For the reason why I say 99 Armageddon, because you had 6 Hall of Famers in that match. They were all attitude-built superstars.
Oh, you talking about? Oh, you talking about the 2000 Armageddon?
Is that 2000 or 99? The Hell in a Cell. That's what I my bad. I fucked up. Then it's 2000. Yeah. That's 2000.
All right, cool. All right.
So it's 2000. No. That's the one. That's the one that I feel was like peak, and then the drop happened.
All right, I hear what you're saying. All right, in that context, I'll agree. In that context, I agree.
Yeah. Somebody says, so when WCW, no. So y'all saying McMahon Hemsley era is an attitude era? You
I'm
can
not
argue.
saying that. I'm not saying that. To me, the attitude era was up until they said, get the F out and we're WWE now. And then Vince McMahon came out like the following week and said, this is ruthless aggression.
Yeah. But I think it was already steaming a little bit before then. Like a little bit like I think for me, ruthless aggression era for me was Brock's time. When Brock was coming up.
Right. Brock had no part of the attitude era. As soon as Brock hit, ruthless aggression.
Yeah.
That's
like
what it is.
That for me was,
and that was the Raw after WrestleMania 18.
Yeah. And for me, it was because WrestleMania 18 was just different, bro. Like it was on some the build up
17 through 21 classics. Classics.
Amazing.
Classics, straight up.
18 was good. 21 was 21 with the one with Undertaker versus Shawn?
No. 21 was Hollywood. That's when John Cena and Batista were anointed.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Which one was Undertaker and Shawn? I never remember dates.
Undertaker Shawn was 25. That WrestleMania was trash. Basura. That match saved the whole year.
Which WrestleMania did The Rock like host or something?
Oh goddamn, 27.
Oh, that's it was.
Yeah, 27.
That shit was Taker versus Orton. That was the match for that one. That's the match that was ill. Taker versus Orton was ill in 21. Thank you.
Yeah, that was at 21.
I knew it was the Taker match that was just amazing.
WrestleMania is 24 to 29, basura. But 17 to 22, it was good. It was good ones.
I'm gonna rewatch the I'm gonna rewatch 20 to what are we up to now? 30. What are we up to now?
I don't know. They stopped giving it a number. I think we're like 36 or 37. I think this is 37. I think we're coming on 37.
Yeah, we're up to 37. So I think I'm gonna watch 20 to 36 like for the next couple of days. Like I wanna like re up on it.
I can't do it. I can't do it. Like I could do after WrestleMania 29. I could do because WrestleMania 30 and 31 were really good, and 32 in Orlando. I like the one in Orlando that they did.
Up 32 between 31 to 35 up until last year. I barely watched them because I was always doing an event for them. So I barely saw them. I just saw the clips the next day. When there was the main event, I watched the main event. I do remember Brock beating Taker. I will never forget that one.
Whew,
That
I
one.
don't think any of us will. we all gonna remember where we was when that happened.
I remember when he beat Taker. We were at a bar, an old bar we used to do events at, called Mimo's on the West Side.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell you this right now: the whole bar went quiet. Like you can hear a pin drop. There's like 200 people, 300 people in the bar, and it's dead silent. Like, yo, what the fuck? And we all thought it was a mistake. We all thought the ref fucked up or something. Like, it's. I remember the reason why I had put Undertaker on the God tier level, because the next day WWE got Donkey of the Day. I'm dead serious.
Oh my god!
WWE got Donkey of the Day with Charlemagne the God because Undertaker lost. I am dead. I was like, yo, what the fuck? Did this just? Are they really giving?
No, dog.
Like, are they really giving them Donkey of the Day right now?
Dude, wait.
It was the funniest thing I ever seen. I was like, yo, this streak was on another level.
Goes to WWE.
Yeah. I gotta find the clip. I'll send it.
Oh my god.
I remember they got Donkey of the Day from Charlemagne the God because they let Undertaker lose.
Yo, facts though.
That's God tier level to me.
He's right. They should get Donkey of the freaking Century for that. That was a dumb thing to do. Like we talk about casual fans. We just talked about earlier casual fans tuning in to familiar faces and stuff. You talk about the Undertaker being on that God tier level. The reason I will never buck anybody calling Undertaker on that God tier level is because I personally know people who ordered and spent money to watch WrestleMania just to see him wrestle because they knew he's undefeated.
Yeah.
They don't care about nothing else on the card.
It's when I have a friend, Tavia, she's on a Your Sports show, and me and her go back and forth. But one thing that we can always understand, like, is I understand a lot of times when they book certain main events. When they booked Rock and Cena twice, I understood. I understood.
Listen, I'm not complaining about anything. If I get to see The Rock, I'm not complaining about anything The Rock or Roman Reigns or the Hurt Business do. Whatever. Y'all do whatever y'all want with those guys.
I really want them to let the chains off. Pun intended, off the big dogs, because I want him to get to that superstar, borderline mega superstar level. But I know how controlling WWE is.
Oh, shit.
But I want him to get to that level because there's so much money that they're leaving on the table with him.
Wait, we have an update. So apparently, the WWE flagged the Donkey of the Day video.
Oh, they did?
Yo, I'm sure we gotta find it on Daily Motion or something.
I told you they did. Because at the time I used to listen to the Breakfast Club every day, and I used to watch them online with the interviews. And I remember seeing that, and I was like, yo, that niggas is assholes.
That's awesome.
But then I was like, yo, Undertaker's that dude.
Yeah.
And we can't take it away from him.
They should no. And honestly, it's so crazy because that was the first year that they had the network. That they did that.
That's what they opened the show with.
I said that's how they opened the whole package deal with it. So we watched WrestleMania free, me and my boy, because we did the 10-day or the free trial membership thing.
Yeah.
So it's on the screen, and we see Brock pop him up for the third F5, and we knew it was over. We were like, no, he's not kicking out of 3 of them. And then when he really hit the mat, I was like, yo. And then his little brother started crying, and that kind of took the edge off because then we got to laugh at his little brother. but it was like, yo, you shouldn't have did it. In hindsight, it wasn't worth it. Brock didn't need it. It didn't make us look at Brock Lesnar as like he did. He was the 1 in 21 for about 1 year, and then no one ever talked about it again. And no, it was just a fucking waste. And now we don't have that. The one thing that we could have had that that was real in wrestling is just another work.
Yeah, it's. Do you think they should have let Roman beat him? They spoke about it. I think they spoke about it or something of that nature. I think they were speaking about it. They wanted Brock to do it, but you think Roman should have gotten it?
Now, I'm a Roman Reigns fan. I don't think anybody should have beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Straight up. Give us something real. Give us something real. In a world of works, give us something real.
I can feel that one. I can feel that one. But
it wouldn't have did anything. I don't even think it would have. I don't even think it would have elevated Roman. I don't think because at this point Taker's so old. This is the same point I made about Sting. And what good are you gonna do beating up a 60-year-old man? Oh, you better beat his ass. You the new one. You better beat his ass.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's just how I look at
it. Yeah, Taker and Kane documentary. Taker said he wanted Roman to be the one. Yeah, Roman's that guy.
He is.
I really want WWE to take the chains off, man, because he can be a mega superstar in the business, man. Like him and Sasha.
You know what I don't like they did with him, but it showed me why they kept him down for a while, because
talk to me.
He wasn't ready yet, and this is what showed me. Remember when John Cena came back?
Yeah.
And he and Roman Reigns had that little back and forth on Raw.
Mm-hmm.
If you go back and watch, you can see this is what happened. You have Roman Reigns, the guy that they want to push. Then you have John Cena, the guy that they've been pushing, that they call back. They say, yo, this is a guy, come help us out. And John Cena's looking at this like, who said I'm done? That's what y'all doing to me now? Like John Cena took this as disrespect. So he goes out there and he embarrasses Roman Reigns on the microphone. Go back and go look at this clip. I felt so fucking bad for this. I felt so bad for him. He goes back, he just embarrasses Roman, just annihilates him on the thing. Tells Roman to come out and give her. Roman was struggling to put two words together. And then when he finally does conjure up enough of himself to put together something to say, Cena just comes in just bah again. Nah, this guy's not ready. This guy's not ready. What y'all doing with homie? But I'll put him over anyway because I'm John Cena and that's what I do for y'all. So
I remember that.
Go look
I
back
remember
on it.
that.
Look back on that. Look back on it now. It ages even worse.
I remember that. I remember that moment when I watched that, and this is like peak Roman hate, like peak when everybody couldn't stand Roman, and John Cena ate him alive. Like Roman was stuttering on his promos. John was just John. Like
he forgot his lines.
Yeah, it was. Woof! It was a bad look, and it showed you the level that John was on.
Mm-hmm.
It showed that.
And it's so crazy. Ironically enough, it was Roman's cousin that helped John Cena get to that level. The Rock, I give The Rock, one of the reasons I give The Rock a lot of credit too, even in this today era, he elevated John Cena to levels that he wasn't at before.
But remember what I said earlier, though. Wrestling is an egotistical sport. the most egotistical sport of all time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm John Cena. I can still go 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy's supposed to take my job? Let me see if you can take my job.
Yeah. The crazy thing is that Roman just kind of sat there and took it. This Roman would have punched him in the mouth on television.
Yeah.
On television.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. But I don't know what they're doing, who's helping him with the promos and shit. But I'm loving what they have him doing right now. But I want him to become a mega superstar. That's what I want from him. That's what I need it, because for me personally, he has that look that'll get over with all markets, with all types of people, and it will take wrestling to another level. That's the reason why I want AEW to succeed. I need this for the ecosystem of wrestling.
The only reason why I feel like Roman isn't going to be the guy to do that, and I love fucking Roman Reigns, the only reason I feel like he's going to be the guy to do that is because I feel like he's best served as a heel. And you need a baby face to really drive the product out like that.
I love Drew, but I don't think even Drew can be that guy.
I like Drew too. I like him a lot more than I did at the beginning of the year and throughout his title reign. Like I eased up on Drew a little bit. Because I realized that like he's not as far along as I expected him to be, but I respect where you are and keep grinding, brother.
I always liked Drew, and that was because I see the talent in him. Mm-hmm. He's a face of the company guy. I don't see him being that mega superstar kind of guy, but I do see him being like a borderline face of the company, like kind of like what Batista was.
Right.
Where you're a superstar, but you ain't a mega superstar.
He is now.
I love him, but I'm gonna be honest. I'm an honest fan.
He did all right.
He's doing all right. He needs to be a little bit better, more media trained, like to really bring out who he is.
Think about it though. Besides The Rock, who did better than him outside?
But Batista,
he did all right. He did all right.
No, hold on. Cena did better.
No. Let me tell you something. John Cena is a fucking clown outside of the WWE.
No. What's that movie he did with the little blue nigga?
Who?
Batista.
I don't know.
With that little tree stump shit? And he was like the beast nigga?
Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy.
That alone is half of The Rock. And all of John Cena.
Right there. John Cena? Dude,
and he did too.
People look at John Cena, and you can even see it. He only gets like clown roles on television. He only gets those roles that you can laugh at. Like, there's nothing that he's done on television that is like, oh, this is a legitimate guy. Let me take this seriously. Like no, if you're not in WWE, you're a clown.
I'm not appreciating this Cena bashing right now is going on in the comments. And between y'all two, this Cena bashing.
John Cena, hardest working man in the business, but like let's keep it a buck. Like he like they don't look at him like if he's not wrestling, they look at wrestlers like, you come from that, you do that wrestling thing, you know, it's like that tongue-in-cheek thing.
Nah. Austin wasn't a baby face. He took the company to heights. Roman isn't heel. He wants the best for his family. Ooh,
all right, wait, hold up. Now, if I know there's a whole thing where Austin was a heel and he acted like a freaking, but no. Austin was a baby face. Even at his height, he was a baby face. You know, panders to the crowd that he does. Give me a hell yeah. And that's the bottom line. Had catchphrases and everything that he do. Like he stood up for the right things, quote unquote, because he was a relatable figure. McMahon was clearly the evil heel in that, you know what I'm saying? Don't let them tell you that Steve Austin was a heel just because he was mean and he gave the finger and he cussed. No, he was babyface, but that was a '90s babyface because that's what was cool in the '90s.
Maybe Roman could be what The Rock did, where he was a heel and then he transformed into a babyface type of shit, where he keeps that arrogant type of shit.
No, because like the people, they legitimately hated The Rock for no reason. They hated Roman Reigns. They didn't hate Roman Reigns for no reason. They actually fucked with Roman Reigns until they screwed over Daniel Bryan. And they're like they turned on Roman Reigns through no fault to do nothing Roman did. It was 1000% because they did Daniel Bryan dirty and they decided that they were gonna turn on whoever they were gonna push instead, which so happened to be Roman Reigns at the time.
And then The Rock comes out, tries to help him, and that shit
didn't help. That didn't help. I was like, damn, bro, this is y'all really stumped this up. Jesus.
Oh man, that was such a classic move. Like they threw The Rock out there. Hey, go help him. Nah, we're not fucking with it.
But it was even worse. And and again, Roman wasn't ready because in the after pay-per-view interview, I remember they had I think it was Lily. One of them goes up with a microphone afterwards backstage to interview Roman on his new Royal Rumble win, and The Rock is talking for him. The Rock is talking. He's like, oh, this is my cousin Roman Reigns, and he's doing this Paul Heyman thing for Roman Reigns, who's not saying a damn thing. And then they give it to Roman. He can't even put two words together, and it makes it look like The Rock is trying to get him over, which does not get him over.
It's Roman had to grow into himself.
Yes.
I think it's one of those. The one thing I will give Vince, WWE, they saved him from completely falling on his face. And you know what Roman was? Roman he got a job that he really couldn't do, but he had to learn as he went. Like, he legit had to learn on the spot. Like, okay, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. And on top of that, and this is, you have to give credit to Roman, is what you talked about. You brought up Cena. It's like those other managers or that other coworker is getting on your ass. Like, how'd you get this job, my nigga? Like, what you doing? Like, what you doing right now? Like, what you doing right now? And he has to take that heat, but he has to still keep moving forward. And I think he just got a job that he didn't have 100% the skills for yet, but he had to just learn on the way just had to learn as he went. And he's done a good job.
He's done a great job because number one, he's still there and it works and it has worked. He didn't drop. He's never dropped the ball. There's never been a time where there's like, oh, Roman really stunk up the joint. That's never happened. They'll tell you, oh, who's Roman? Roman always get carried in his matches. Yeah, shut up. You don't know anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're telling me he gets if Roman Reigns is getting carried through every Raw, every SmackDown, every house show, everything, guess what? He's not going to be that guy in that position like that for very long. Okay?
No.
And yeah,
Roman's good.
No, he's very solid, and he's caught everything or most everything that's been thrown at him, and he's handled it in stride. I can't really ask too much more of the guy, and that's why I had to kind of ease up on Drew, because Drew, like, he didn't hit everything out the park. Like, you know, like when he first won the title, like, what was he doing with in the feuds that he was doing, like after the WrestleMania or whatever? I don't even remember. Oh, it was like Dolph Ziggler and things like that. It was just like, all right, bro, like, this is kind of boring. But I guess you kind of credit Randy Orton in a sense, kind of bringing this other element of Drew out and having to elevate his game to this level to be seen next to Randy Orton or Roman Reigns for that matter.
Drew was hitting RBI singles, no home runs, just RBI base singles. Like, he was getting people on base. He was doing what he needs to do, because he's new to that position.
Yeah.
And it goes back to what I said earlier, like when you're the face of a company or one of the faces of a company, that's a lot of pressure and a lot of shit that many people just can't deal with, especially a billion-dollar company like WWE, where hey, you have the title, now you got to be the face of this company. Like, I remember when Jinder got the title. Remember when Jinder got the title?
Jesus. Ugh. I can't tell you too much about that. That's when I kind of tapped out on that one. I was like, all right.
I didn't mind Jinder as champion.
You know what I did like about that though? Like, okay, they didn't try to make it seem like Jinder was like this legitimate, like, can't beat me guy. He had two stooges with him, and it kind of made it was kind of like Seth Rollins when he was in the Authority. It was kind of like, you know, this guy shouldn't have the belt, but like these two help him, you know, don't hinder Jinder. Yeah, like they didn't hinder him, they helped him. His two Singh friends. But I think the two Singh brothers helped him not be so bad, I guess, because it was like you knew it shouldn't be on him, but you know he kept it because of those two. I don't know. He looked good though. He looked good.
Drew knew that position. Vince put a target on his back, giving Drew that nickname. That you are right, but I think when Drew got back, he didn't really have that target on his back. But it's such a learning process. Like when Jinder became champion, that was his first like mega title, and you got to learn in that spot. I will never know that pressure. Maybe I will one day, of being a face of a company and having to deal with
maturity thing too, though. Like honestly, like
to say that again. I didn't hear you, Stan. What'd you say?
It's a maturity thing too.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, like you just got. I'm watching Tough Enough again, right? And yeah, we're watching Tough Enough again, and the Big Show came in. And he was telling the folks that, like, yo, my first match was against Hulk Hogan, Halloween Havoc for the fucking world title. And guess what? I won. So it was like, from that point on, you created a monster. Hardcore. What was I like when I first got to the WWE? You're an asshole. You know, so it's like, at that point, when you give somebody that young, like, that inexperienced, those kind of keys to that kind of castle, you're gonna get a car wreck.
Well, a great example would be Randy.
Yep, absolutely.
Randy Orton, when he first came on, they gave him everything he wanted, and exactly, they gave him that, and you know how many times he fucked up?
A lot.
Like constantly fucking up, messing things up, drugs, you know, all that shit, and he had to fix himself. Thank God his talent was so high, and he matured during that process. But I always say wrestling's the entertainment business, and you deal with so much when you first get that level of fame, and it's a lot. Imagine you at 23, right? Let's say Stan, 23-year-old Stan, right? Is fucking with Triple H, Ric Flair, tons of money in your pocket,
Jesus,
bitches galore.
Y'all would never see me again. Y'all would never see me again,
bro. Like, I never get mad at when people are like, oh my God, I can't believe he's messing up his opportunity, blah, 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 blah. Yo, bro.
Dude.
A 22-year-old, 23-year-old with the world in your palm of your hand, you're not going to know how to act. Unless you have the perfect people around you.
Like, dog, he hanging out with Ric Flair. What are you going to tell this kid?
Yeah. I
want to hang out with Ric Flair.
Yeah, and then you have to have like the right mentors around you that believe in you, because like I will put money on it. If Triple H wasn't in Randy's corner, Randy wouldn't be here right now.
Oh no. A lot like Batista neither.
No,
You know, like
Batista a little bit different.
yeah, he wasn't a immature kid. He was more of a prick. But I like Batista. I love Batista. He's more of a prick.
Yeah, I remember watching the Evolution documentary. I don't know if you saw that one, where they were talking about how Batista was like, yo, there was so much hate in the back. Like, there was so much people hating on me about me moving up. And Randy didn't give a fuck. Batista was just like, I don't know what to do. And fucking Triple H was like, yo, do you want to make money?
Well, he put a lot on that. He put a lot of that on himself. I read Batista's book. He put a lot of that on himself coming out of, well, because first of all, they're already looking at you like, oh, who's this guy? He gets to ride around with Triple H and big muscle head. He only been here a couple years. All right, fine. They're already looking at you like that. But the problem came when he started buying into his hype. Somebody interviewed him, and he told them that Raw was like the better show, and this guy's on SmackDown. They're lazy. They don't work as hard. It's like burying SmackDown. What happens a couple months later? He ends up on SmackDown, and he had I think he said it was Taker that took him aside and was like, "So I'm on SmackDown, right?" you know Kurt Angle's on SmackDown, right? Eddie Guerrero's here, right? Yeah, bring that ass here, boy.
That's how it is, because first of all, wrestling has so many fucking unwritten fucking rules.
Facts.
Like
that WWF rule book.
It's so many like there's a rule that if you're getting on an elevator, you have to let the veterans go first. How the fuck are you gonna know that if nobody told you?
I don't know. Feel it out. Read the room.
But then, for instance, I can't get mad at Batista because in some ways you have to believe your own hype. One. Two, you can't play a wrestler. You have to be a wrestler. Right.
You got to be that guy. Like that's one thing. Like no anybody that might hear this or whatever. If you're doing it, don't play. Do it.
Yeah. Like, and all the greats say that fucking type of shit. All the greats say like, no, you don't play a wrestler. You're not. You are a wrestler. You are a person going out there and whooping somebody's ass. Don't play that shit.
We give this to you.
Somebody said Velveteen is like that right now. He needs maturity. Velveteen is.
He needs therapy. That boy.
I saw something online. Somebody said that they should put him on the main roster and just restart him up.
No.
But I think he'll just get lost on that main roster. Like,
no. I don't even know what to tell you to do about I don't want to see him. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, after everything that, everything that came out, I don't even want to see him. I liked him before it all and all that. Wasn't sure if he was going to make it on the main roster. And now I don't even. I'm good. Next.
I don't know what they're gonna do with him.
I don't think he does.
Yeah.
One thing I peeped. He stopped with the over sexual gimmick and all that stuff. Now he's doing all this weird stuff. He comes out dressed like I don't know, like whatever he comes out feel like dressing like this week, but it's not like he's not like Prince anymore. He's not like touching himself when he come out and stuff no more.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough, man. It's really, really rough. I really am interested in and excited for 2021 for wrestling.
Yeah. We get fans back?
Yeah. I think we get fans mid-year. hopefully, but I think we get fans mid-year, May, June, because more places are opening up. We're getting this the fucking the X serum.
Oh,
So
God.
aka the vaccine.
Oh, God.
So that's gonna put
we're all gonna take some X syrup and
then we're gonna start barking like dogs.
Jesus. Listen, y'all gotta show me like Bill Gates take it first, and then like ensure me that that's the same thing that's going. I don't even know. You know what? Nah. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just keep doing what I'm doing. Get tested.
The problem is with that is the medical field hasn't showed a lot of love for people of color, so I can't trust it. So
so it's like
it's like,
what do you do?
Yeah, you guys. I believe in science. I do believe in that. I do believe certain shit, but y'all motherfuckers be shitting on us our whole entire lives and shit.
The only reason I say show me Bill Gates is because like I need to see like an old, powerful white man with money take it, so that way I know it's like, okay, he's somebody that they want to live, so he's gonna take it. If he takes it, then I'm gonna take
it. Yeah. But I just want to see what happens. How fans react. Because that crowd. We talked about it earlier. We talked about that crowd reaction. That crowd control. Like, imagine the Hell in a Cell with Roman, or when Roman came back. Like the crowd reaction when Roman came back, and nobody saw that shit coming. Or the crowd reaction when Paul, we find out that Paul and Roman are together. Like those things, I would love to have seen how the crowd would have reacted to those.
There's the one thing that I really just wish there was a crowd for that happened this year. Was Drew. It was Drew winning that title.
He got cheated, man.
Man, oh my God, I felt so bad. I wanted to cry for him. Like, dude worked his whole life. He got fired. He went through the Indies and came back through NXT all the way up to this point all these years. And it's this. Damn, bro. But
yeah. But let's end this episode because I need to go to bed. I'm yawning. I'm being disrespectful to you.
I'm being summoned.
I know what that means. But bro, it was a pleasure. What she said?
She said, "Fuck you."
But it's been a pleasure, Stan. I'm gonna have this episode on YouTube and on all streaming platforms tomorrow. So you can, if anybody that got picked it up late, we can definitely listen and watch it tomorrow on the Job and Tears Network. Yo, Stan, good looks on coming on today with me again, doing this little late night chat. I think we talked about nearly everything.
Yeah, we did pretty good. Like Batista, we did pretty good.
Yeah, but we'll talk later. I'll see you online like always.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. More on this later. And don't forget, the Clippers blew a 3-1 lead to the Denver Nuggets in the second round of the NBA playoffs, a series in which Paul George and Kawhi Leonard combined for a grand total of 0 points in the fourth quarter, while Jamal Murray dropped 40. This ultimately cost Doc Rivers his head coaching job. That's it.
All right, guys. I'll see you later.
All right, yo, peace.